Do I know him? Good. This is like back in the day when people played instruments. Who's this guy?
He's a Japanese guy. I don't even know his name actually. I need to check.
This is like interesting. You know, I talk about singers like Taylor Swift being very like talky singers, but this guy's like literally talking. Like, I don't like, is he primarily a singer?
I think so.
Interesting. Well, he seems, so you don't know him.
Not very familiar.
He seems, this is just like, we just started the video, but he seems very kind of checked out, a little bit checked out. I don't think checked out is the right term. This is really interesting, Jay. Did you watch this?
No. Why?
Well,
I'm watching it with you now.
Okay, he just seems like, huh. Wow, that's such a Japanese melody. Do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
A very Japanese melody.
Or Chinese. Sometimes China has that.
Oh, no, that feels way more Japanese to me. But like, hey, who's the expert between us? It's not me. But the more and more I watch of the music from each place, stuff does start to stand out. And Japanese has a lot more of those playful little turnaround melodies, like he just did. I'll show it to you. But then we'll talk more about how I feel about this singer. Jay, is it letting me rewind? Oh, yeah. Okay. So check this. Do-de-do-de-do kind of vibe. That's very something I hear in Japanese music. Ooh, his vibrato is actually reasonably shallow. That's very cool. So I guess what is striking me about this singer is that he's singing, I don't even know how to really verbalize this. He's like not a very singy singer. And I say that, you know, there's lots of circumstances where I would say that. You know, for example, someone like Bob Dylan isn't known for his vocal prowess, but people really love his poetry and they really love the sound of his voice, the tone of his voice, his attitude, the topics that he talks about, the instrumentation, the overall vibe. This guy just seems like as soon as he started singing, it was like this. I'll do an example. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I like. He just seemed like he was doing the notes, doing the word, doing what he was supposed to do, and not much else. That can indicate, like, I don't think he has a huge toolkit vocally, which is cool. Again, you've got your artists like Bob Dylan, who kind of just make sounds and feel their way through. But just to me, he seems like not in it as much. But again, and this is very interesting. He's actually lifting into the mixier, thickier part of his voice pretty efficiently. But his overall attitude, I don't know that I want him It's not that I need him to be like making himself cry or something, but it's just a very subdued presence. I'm always telling singers they need to be more casual, and this guy's like one of the only singers I've maybe ever seen that I'm like, less casual, dial it up a bit. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. That's another one of those melodies that I am starting to pick up more and more in Japanese music. I'll play it for you again. Here it is. Oh, I know what I want to point out. So do you see how this is sitting probably below the middle of his voice, right? He's kind of like, in my voice, it would be like, ba ba da ba da 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 da. Like it's near the bottom. And sometimes singers have to choose those keys. I'm only guessing, but sometimes singers have to choose a key in a place like this so that in the chorus we heard, you know, I said, oh, that's nice. That's the thicker, mixier part of his voice. And it sat quite nicely there. And I often encourage singers to prioritize the chorus because it's the hooky part, the part with the words that we all sing along and remember, the part that repeats and repeats. So we prioritize the chorus and make sure it sits in the most exciting place that we want it to sit in, our voice. But sometimes other sections of the song, verse or pre-chorus, sometimes even bridge, will suffer. Suffer might be the wrong word, but won't sit in the perfect place because we've put the chorus in the perfect place. Because the chorus did sound good.
Yeah.
You know, it sat in a really nice place. It was thicker and fuller and stretchier. But the verses do sit very, very low, which might be part of why he sounds so casual and talky, because there's not a lot of, we can't be terribly limber and do a lot of fancy things when we're pressed up against either the very bottom and often the very top too. So that's just an observation. I can't really know why he wrote this song in this key or chose this key. He didn't write this song.
He did. He's a singer-songwriter.
Okay.
His name is Takahashi Yu. I just looked it up.
Oh, that's a great name.
Takahashi Yu.
Cool. Quite popular?
Yeah, seems so.
Well, I'm sorry to complain. I'm sure he's wonderful. Interesting. Yeah, so he's used that little turnaround melody, and oh, you don't speak Japanese, so you don't even know what the word is supposed to be.
A bit. I speak a bit.
Come on.
A little.
Come on.
Why?
It's not wrong. There's nothing wrong about this. I'm not saying there's anything wrong about this. And if I was going to, what would I do? You could do something more like, day. This is more about songwriting, or choosing. This in this case, it is songwriting. But you're right. It could be a cultural preference. But it is also an artist-to-artist preference. Some artists. This isn't a right and wrong thing. This is a preference thing. I really like his vibrato. I really do. His mixed voice sounds good, but do you notice how it sounds a little bit more yelly than some mixed voices? Not in a bad way, but he is almost like ba da 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 da. He's kind of loose. He's kind of loose in using his voice. You know, I always say to you guys and to my clients, you want to make sure that you're using your singing voice the same way you use it when you're talking, the same way you use it when you're yelling. But you do kind of round the edges, usually, as a singer. But this guy is just like going in full balls, just really into the talking and yelling place, which is an artistic flex on his behalf. I do really like to hear the band vibe of this whole thing. Real players playing real instruments in a live-ish, live setting where they've all got their instruments in their hand and they're playing just like they would on stage. This is really great to see. You're right. I have seen this style of singing on other Japanese artists.
Yes, you have.
Yes. A female is coming to my mind right now in one of those one-take ones where I remember seeing a profile like this, and they're very, not shouty, but it's very deliberate.
You're thinking about Lisa. But Lisa is way more technical.
Yes.
She has like compression and
but
sigh and a lot
absolutely.
more skills.
But this style that's yes, I am
Yeah.
Lisa. But it's very like deliberate. That might be a better word. It's just very like less sing. Well, no, she is singery. How do I describe it? Yeah, but I don't know. I see the connection stylistically. Like I see an overlap between her and him. Like it's less, how do I say? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like even though Lisa was more technical and had more like toolkit, like she was using more singery things, the overall delivery and tone is that visceral. That's maybe what it is, where they're not trying to make it so singy. It's just like, this is what it is, just right out front. He's definitely in it. That's just his style. To just deliver that way. Lovely little piano part. A chorus we'll often call the hook, or there'll be hooks in the vocal melody. This is one of the instances where one of the hooks in this song is actually being played on the piano. That little melody you're hearing, we recognize it from throughout the song. So that's a hook too. Nice. You know, by the end, he did win me over. He did win me over. And the song won me over too. Do you know he has a speech impediment?
What's that?
He has a speech impediment? That's interesting.
What's that?
So when he says ch, he says ch. So his tongue is going between his teeth on ch, maybe even sh and ch. His tongue is going between his teeth. It's not entirely uncommon, but
wow, you can't even tell? Like, you don't even know the language and you can tell?
Oh, I can show you right now. You want to see? Even on chi, you can hear it on chi, chi, chi. She.
Oh, so like a big tongue, kind of like a...
So it's supposed to be she. He said she. She. Very common. Lots of kids have it. Sometimes they grow out of it. Sometimes adults keep it. He's very, very understandable, and he may, in fact, find it charming or whatever. But yes, so tongue doesn't go between the teeth on ch and sh typically, but sometimes people will say ch and sh.
Wow. Crazy. He has a pedestrian vibe, which is sincere. Actually, it felt sincere. Like his whole look. Look at his whole look. Like, it looks very...
In the beginning, I'm like, this guy doesn't give a shit. And then the more I watched, I'm like, no, that's like his personal style.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, and I think our peeps, like if you're watching this channel, I'm drawn to singers that are like doing, like they're really singing. They're really like pulling melodies and bending things and playing.
Yeah.
So to me, my first reaction was like, oh, I don't even know if he's like in it.
Yeah.
He totally is. He totally is. And by the time he lifted into the chorus, into the mixier place, the musicality for me shone through more. But I don't know or personally listen to a lot of singers with that casual delivery. So I'm not used to it, but
this is very indie-like. I feel like he might be categorized as a Japanese indie artist, actually.
Yeah,
you know?
And honestly, by the end, I was like, okay, I get it. I get what his fans... I get it. But definitely really different than, I'd say, the majority of anything in my world.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came through. I quite like this tone right out of the gate. And this is quite beautiful. This is quite beautiful. But this is Mandarin now.
Yeah.
Would you say that he's modifying the vowels in a like more contemporary modern way because it's quite open? Or is that just the design of the words, design of the lyrics?
It's the design of the lyrics.
Design of the lyrics. Oh, there's our little piano hook. A little different, right? So this is a more singy singer, though.
You find out for
Oh, I'm
yourself.
telling you.
这一路上走走停停，顺着少年漂流的痕迹，迈出车站的前一刻，竟有些犹豫。不禁笑着，景象亲切，人无可避免。而长夜的天依旧那么暖，风吹起了从前。 从前注视着世界，万般流连，看着天边死在眼前，也感。
Well, it's not live, but I like the tone.
You mean it's edited?
It's sure.
Yeah. Okay.
越赴汤蹈火去走它一遍。 如今走过这世界，万般流连，翻过岁月不同侧脸，猝不及防闯入。
Do you not like it?
Me?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because you're like, I don't know, fun.
You know what? No, I thought you weren't gonna like it because he has a certain masculiness to his tone. He's well known for having some kind of maskiness in his tone.
你的笑颜，我怎能自拔于世界之大，也趁你记中谋划，不对真假，不做挣扎。
He would be a really great example, though, of where you can differentiate between a more mask-based sound and a nasal sound. So what that means, well, I want you to listen to this piece.
Okay.
Shit, that was it. Hua, hua.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I relax my tongue, hua, is this still accurate?
Yeah.
Hua
Yeah.
versus hua.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I lift my tongue up real high, hua, hua, hua.
Yeah,
so
that's
mask.
nasal.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
Yeah.
that word
Yeah.
is very mask placement.
Okay.
And he could relax his jaw and or tongue and get hua, hua, hua.
Yeah.
But this again is an example of where the rest of what he's doing is so pleasing that it is acceptable. And it's not, actually, you know what? I've never thought about this. What's the difference between a more masky sound and a nasal sound? And I think, I might roll this back, but just from observing him and hearing what you said, I think a singer that I would call masky chooses a higher tongue position more often, whereas a nasal singer has a high tongue position. Period. Period, right? If I say, I'll always remember, that's a really bad example. I find doing it, singing nasal quite difficult. I'll always remember us this way is a nasal. That whole thing is a high tongue, high jaw, or closed jaw. But if I say, I'll always remember us, well, that one syllable was placed. Ways.
Yeah.
So that is a singer who has been either coached or taught or decided that there are certain vowels, certain words, certain notes, certain places in their range where it sounds better or more focused or more pingy to place a little bit up with a higher tongue position. And this singer's doing a lot of pleasing things to my ear.
That's so interesting. I'm a little bit confused, to be honest, because him versus, remember there was this one the voice coach. You called him the male version of Han Hong because he had wide,
yes,
thick tone, right?
Yes.
And when he did that, you liked him, and you seem to like this guy, but you didn't like Jam. So I'm a little bit confused because Jam, to me, it almost sounds like.
Oh, you're putting me in the hot seat. Is that what's happening? Well, I'm going to defend myself a few different ways. There is always going to be the factor of, for lack of a better word, taste. But I will be curious. You should probably show me Gem again. You really probably should. I've had so much more chance to get to know the language a little bit, the preferred style of singers in China. And I mean, you guys have to remember, I was a noob to what we're doing now. I had never done it.
Culture. Yeah.
Whether I like or don't like a singer, or whether I say a singer has a more masky placement or not, that really does come down to what I've listened to, what I'm comparing it to, what I innately prefer as a singer, as a coach, and a fan, right? What I prefer as a fan. But I want to say most importantly, what I've been exposed to. That was already something I said, but if I'm listening to a lot of singers that have a bunch of habits and I'm attached to that and I like that, I can't help that. Just
Yeah, I'm just trying to find out from a technical point of view the difference between all these different types of maskiness.
Yeah, and we could try and figure out the technical difference between, this masky singer and this masky singer. But I think also what is going to come down to is, do I just like the other crap the singer's doing around it? Right? Do I like Do I feel like their musicality, their musicianship, the other choices they're making, the cries, the yodels, the way they're joining, the grace notes, the scoops, does that all come together and make something that just intrigues my ear overall?
Right.
And you also showed me Gem in the beginning of her freaking career before you showed me Fully Realized Gem. So I also had to watch, because think about it. Think about it. If you or your kid or someone goes in some sort of competition, it matters sometimes who performs before them. It matters sometimes who performs after them. As the judges evaluate the situation, the judges are also subject to what they just witnessed before, after, the day before, the day of. So I'm not taking anything back. I have no idea what I said that day. And I'm not going to revisit it or take it back or anything, because I probably meant what I said when I said it.
Yeah.
But there's...
I think you just had really high hopes for her. Like you were really putting her like...
Well, she's so beautiful. She's so beautiful, and she looked the part. Yeah. And the people were loving her in the audience. The audience, you know, was big.
She was singing really difficult like English songs.
Yep. Well, and that's the other thing. That's the other thing.
You were comparing her directly to like Christina Aguilera and like... She was
singing English songs, and that is easy for me potentially to be even more critical, because not only do I know the original singer, but I know the original song, and I know all the intricacies of the original song. Yeah. So I am sure Gem is fabulous, but I can't say this enough, and maybe you guys are tired of hearing this, but I really can give you my expert opinion, but that will always be clouded by my personal taste. There's no way to separate those things, and I wouldn't even try at this point.
Yeah, and I tell them too, I mean, what you like or not doesn't really matter. You're only here to share your...
There's artists that I love that I'm sure many of them would be like, what is this? What is this? And just like them, I have stuff that I'm attached to from my youth, from my childhood, that if I heard for the first time today, I'd be like, don't like. But it's now attached to my memories and my childhood and the smell of my mom cooking pie or whatever. Just like for some of them, these singers are attached to their memories and their senses too. So it's, I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.
Here we go. It is a bit masky, but I still like him. Okay, it's quite masky.
Yeah, it's his signature sound. People identify him with this tone.
You know, he sounds like an instrument. It sounds like a... I don't know, he sounds like an instrument, but his musicianship and musicality is joining all the notes together in a really pleasant way. Yeah, it's high tongue. Don't yell at me for liking him.
清楚是这世界乱流连，看着天边死在眼前，也但愿不能到过去走它一遍。如今走过这世界乱流连，翻过岁月不能侧脸，走不进房装入你的笑。
This is pretty highly edited, actually.
Oh yeah. 我怎能自拔于世界之大，别沉溺于其中梦话，不得真假，不做挣扎，不去消化。我曾将青春翻涌成花，也曾指尖弹出时下，心之所动，且就随缘去吧。
Do you not like him?
I'm okay.
Like, I'm not...
It doesn't matter what I like or not.
Well, it doesn't matter what I like or not. I'm just saying, like, do you not... Like, do you prefer this to the other one?
I think well, of course, I know way more about him than you do. So I know his background. He's a good songwriter. He's a very talented musician. His voice, however, I don't know. It doesn't really
doesn't do it
it's
for you.
It's not my thing, but I know he's a good singer. Like I know he's
I think he's like he sounds pleasant. And that is that can't be underestimated.
Yeah. That's the guy.
The guy that I was
the voice judge.
Oh yeah. The one that I said sounded like a male Han Hong.
Yeah.
晚风吹起你鬓间的白发，抚平回忆留下的疤。你的眼中明暗交杂，一笑生花。我仍感叹于世界。
The last video of the original artist was a lot more raw and honest than this.
Yeah.
That's just worth pointing out.
Yes.
也沉醉于儿时情话，无声挣扎，无所挣扎，微笑话，我终将青春还给了他。
Man, it has such a different vibe in Mandarin versus Japanese.
Yeah.
It's a really different feel.
空指间弹出的盛夏，心之所终究随风去了。爱之谜，你还愿意吗？
Feel long and loud. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I prefer this one so far.
You prefer this one?
But I get the first guy.
The first guy was supposed to be a music video, but it's like quite raw.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Like,
it was like a live take.
He kept it like really raw.
He, at the end of his lines, you could actually hear him pull out a tune at the end of lines, which I actually liked.
Yeah.
I actually liked.
Mm-hmm.
This, when you watch this back, you'll see that the vowels and lips don't always match.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, so...
Well, up to you. Is this a slightly different hook on the piano?
The same, I think.
Slightly different. Hey! Ha ha ha!
这一路上走走停停，顺着少年漂流的痕迹，迈出车站的前一刻，竟有些犹豫，不禁笑着。
In some ways, this has a similar feeling to the last guy, but no mask.
Yeah.
And it's lovely. Yeah.
相信且仍无法避免，而长夜的天依旧那么暖，风吹起了从前，从前初识这世界。
And it's a lot more, I shouldn't say, it feels a little bit more human. There's a little bit more, well, right now he's doing his signature pinch. Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Which he's going to let that off. We know he's going to let that off, and he's probably going to open it up to somewhere else. Whereas the last guy, who I do think had a good, good musicianship, good musicality, his was a very buzzy, honky, I don't know how to say, not hooty. How would you do that sound?
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, I
There's
mean...
more closure, so it's less pinchy, definitely. The air's not coming out, so...
But it's more buzzy, like... ha, 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 like that sound. Ha. Even though overall the performance and tone is really palatable and really pleasant, it's always hard when you back to back it with something
this different.
Well,
yeah.
This is like pretty ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like we already hear him switching registers in the middle of words, in the middle of phrases. We hear him pinching the tone, then letting the pinch off. We hear oh yeah, we hear him adding subtle, shallow vibrato in really beautiful places. The last guy actually didn't use a whole lot of vibrato. I never made that comment, but he really
was quite subtle.
Very subtle but the cool thing about Zhou Shen is, though he uses it a lot like a more singy singer, it's shallow and it's placed quite expertly. It's I've never been like, oh, it's a bit much. It's always just enough. Super beautiful. Ooh, it's high. Ooh, it's high. Okay. You guys know I love him, but I would be just curious to hear it in a lower key. But I know why he put it here. Because as a singer, as an artist, it's kind of your responsibility to figure out whatever your material is going to be, whatever your repertoire is. You want to figure out how to showcase your things, whatever they may be. Super high notes, super low notes, super belty notes, cries, whatever your thing is, your personal style, the thing that you know you can bring to life really well. You kind of want to figure out what key or what speed or what you can design in a song to showcase your thing. So that's clearly why he's put it in this key. But I see a lot in him. I think he's an incredibly well-rounded singer and musician. So just because I'm starting to get to know him more, now I'm almost curious what happens if you take away that one aspect, because I know there's plenty left. When you remove that one sparkly thing that he uses a lot, the high notes, there's more to him than that, I think.
But it's the hook, of course. It's gotta be the
but okay. But this kind of the last time we listened to him, I'm almost extrapolating on what I was saying. The last session we looked at him, I realized that when he goes into high notes, 95% of the time he does it with this tone. It's falsetto-y or heady or hooty or whatever you want to call this. It thins out a little bit. He doesn't really belt that often.
Would you agree if an artist is performing a lot, he might...
You already gave me this. You're like, oh, it's to be easier on their voice.
It's the longevity of...
No, I don't think...
No?
There's no artist well, maybe it would be easier on the voice.
Belting is difficult on the vocal cord.
Yeah. It's more full on. It's more action, but I mean, you know, you're not going to find Adele like using her falsetto to preserve her voice, right? When you're going to bring a song to life a certain way, you're not like, oh, well, will I be able to do this till I'm 97? You just do it. So I don't think it's that. I personally think it's because he knows how effective, how beautiful, how breathtaking, how he knows how to make his peeps cry.
Also, some people would argue it's the lyrics. Because there are parts of the song that you don't really want to belt.
Yeah, but Jay, I'm going to fight you on this, okay? Because I could say, I'm off the deep end, watch as I dive in, which is in the middle of the song. Yeah. But you know what's at the end of the song? I'm off the deep end, watch as I dive in. Same lyrics. And they make sense bold and big, and they make sense sad and intricate and falsetto. So yeah, like maybe. But at the same token, every singer is their own, they're steering. They're steering and they're painting the picture. So if you want to paint it with big, angry, or joyful broad strokes, or if you want to paint it with beautiful, clear blue, that's up to you. But lyrics can be interpreted a million ways, but it's his job to interpret them. And in this case, I think he interprets stuff so that it all sits in this crystal clear glass, ping, ping, like this tone is what he's known for. The only reason I'm challenging him isn't because I don't like it, or, I mean, you guys know I like it, but I just am curious because, again, I'm getting to know his voice more, and now I'm like, I wonder what this would sound like 3 semitones lower but belted. But I don't know. Maybe there's a reason he doesn't do it, which probably, if I had to guess, is that he just doesn't like the sound of his voice there, or that doesn't excite him, or there's something about that doesn't crank his shaft. So this is the version of his voice that's his favorite.
Yeah.
That's what I would guess. I could go da 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 da. He chooses that. Look, even the same key. I don't even have to shift the key, which means it's very likely he could do what I just did.
Yes,
but he chooses not to.
Yeah, it's his personality.
Well, his personality, his artistic style, his interpretation, all of the things. Okay, I'm going to point something out. So, for the most, when a singer chooses to use their head voice or falsetto, it is most often placed where they would need to yell. They would need to lean in order to do something other than falsetto or head voice. But what differentiates an artist like him, and that is typically something that doesn't always work, he places head voice or falsetto in places where he doesn't really need that much juice. Let me talk further and say this. If I said to you, "Hi, I'm Rozette," but then if I said to you this, "Hi, I'm Rozette," you'd be like, "Why are you doing that? Why are you talking like that?
Yeah.
Why are you lifting it up when you could just talk?" So he uses falsetto or head voice in places where he actually doesn't need it. And that is part of his personal style. But the cool thing about him is that it works.
Yeah.
Because if I say to you, instead of, "I'm off the deep end, watch as if I say, "I'm off the deep end, watch as I dive in," why are you doing that? But he does a version of that, but it works. Because he sells it, because he loves it, because it's his style. So watch right here. So, da 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 da. So he could have said, "Da da 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 da," but instead, "na na 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 na." He remains in that tone, even though he doesn't have to, which is part of his thing. That's part of what we've come to know and expect from him, is that he can keep that headier, hootier, falsetto, whatever tone, evenly, because it's actually hard. It's actually hard to maintain that in notes where you don't need it. It's hard.
To sing tastefully is a whole new level.
Oh, that's really the jam.
Yeah.
That's what's hard for...
That's beyond having technique.
Yeah, well, applying technique in a musical way, that's what differentiates a singer from an artist, per se. Singers are great technicians. You can say, "Hey, put that here, put that here." But an artist will be like, "I put it here. I do this because this is how it feels to me. This is how I want it to wash over the audience." So that is a belty note for him. I am just saying he can belt higher, but he often chooses not to because it's his signature sound to go to that other place. Is he wearing a suit and sneakers? We're back to our that whispery, kind of pinchy tone.
走停停也有了几分的距离，不知抚摸的是故事还是段心情。也许期待的不过是与时间为你再次见到你，微亮晨光里 笑得很甜蜜。从前初识这世间，万般流连，看着天边死在眼前，也甘愿赴汤蹈火去走它一遍。如今走过这世间，万般流连，翻过岁月，不同侧脸，猝不及防。
Yeah, such musicality.
Yeah.
Such musicality.
闯入你的笑颜，我曾难自拔于世界之大，也沉溺于其中梦话，不做真假，不做挣扎，不惧笑话。我曾将青春翻涌成她，也曾指尖看出剩下心之所动，且就此远去吧。
I quite enjoy his vibrato there. We hear it shallow, and that's kind of the slower end of vibrato for him. Lovely. So he's the third singer we're seeing, and it's every singer when they come to this section, which is the ad lib, let's call it, where they kind of say, oh, or yeah, or whatever. There's just such music. I don't even know what word to use at this point. It just sounds so, what I tell my singers, if they ever have to say yeah, or whoa, or baby, or like something that's kind of like supposed to sound casual, if you're not careful, you'll sound like baby, like it will sound very, oh yeah, like you have to be really careful to sound honest when you're doing ad libs or O's or babies. And this wins even over the original artist for me.
Yeah.
He knows how to use his instrument.
I know.
He just does. Fragile.
Yeah.
Right? Such a beautiful way. And I'm going to use the word manipulate. I was just talking to someone about this. The way we can manipulate people's emotions by manipulating the way we're using our voice, because this sound he's making is familiar to us humans. We recognize that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why you did that to me. We recognize that as a human sound that is pain or is sad or sorrow. We recognize that quality.
Yeah.
Look at his face. Look at his literal face right there. The way we are able to manipulate our voice is we actually do the exact physicality that a human being does when they make those sounds in real life. Look at his face. That is the face of someone who just got dumped. That is the face of someone who was kicked off of the playground and their friends don't want to play with them anymore. That is the face of someone feeling pain. And that a singer is an actor. A singer has to go places in order to do physical things and take people places. Look at that face. Who is this? Is this his family? His mom? His grandma?
No.
Well, I don't know. It says Billy Billy.
It's Billy Billy. It's a Billy Billy concert, I believe.
I know. So who's open? What is it?
These are the Billy Billy. These are content creators, I think.
This old lady?
I think so. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So is he singing at a Billy Billy thing that's awarding
It's a
people?
Billy Billy event. Yeah.
For creators. For creators.
Yeah. Content
Cool.
creators.
Cool. I love that tone that he does. You're not going to show me someone else after this, are you? Of the same song? Are you? Oh, God. Ah, what a guy. Okay, let's do it again. So far, my favorite is Zhou Shen. Do I know this singer?
You find out.
Oh, God. Whoa, okay, so they're totally reinterpreting the hook. That's so funny. I talked about the piano hook, and this one, they're completely doing their own thing with it. What's that called again?
Erhu.
What?
Erhu. My dad plays erhu.
Do I have to say erhu? What?
Yeah, the tone. Er.
Erhu. Who?
Yes.
Erhu.
Exactly.
It's hard. That is, use every brain cell. It's beautiful. Sounds beautiful.
这一路上走走停停，顺着山河的痕迹，迈出车站的前一刻，竟有。
Again, I just have such a crush on him. It's so funny. Oh, God. Oh, my God, why is he wearing hammer pants? What is going on with his pants? I still love it somehow. Sparkly hammer pants. Whoa, interesting interpretation, the end of those lines. Do you hear what he's doing with the pitch on the end of all three of those lines?
Yeah?
Listen, listen. He's like bending the pitch in a weird way. Chin.
Oh, it's more speech-like.
Yes, well, but he...
This is Mandarin.
Hold on.
This is very Mandarin.
Oh, really?
Chen.
Yes!
Yeah, that's very Mandarin.
I don't think I've ever noticed him do this.
So if we are going to speak 从前,
that's so interesting.
that's how we talk.
So that's so funny. I was like, I wouldn't call it like speech, but it's Mandarin speech. It's Mandarin speech. Does he have color in his hair? Is there like bleach blonde or is it light?
Could be just the light.
The light?
Yeah.
Dude, I've never heard him do that thing at the end of lines. I think this is my favorite.
Already?
Well,
I thought it was going to be a tough battle.
It's not. I mean, it is.
not?
Okay, it is. I mean, okay. I think Zhou Shen is an amazing vocalist, an amazing artist, but he is the most, like, I'll be honest, he's the most Western-styled singer,
Okay,
so it's the most familiar to my ear.
Yeah.
It's the most pop as I perceive pop.
Yeah.
Like not literally, okay. He does make a lot of stylistic decisions that are very Michael Jackson-like. Yeah. I know I've said that a million times, but there are many, many pop artists in the West who have been influenced by Michael Jackson in such a profound way that when you emulate that style, it brings like 6 other artists into my head and heart.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's not, I don't want to sound like I'm just suggesting that he's like riffing on Michael Jackson. I'm saying that his influences have been filtered through his ear, his heart, his artistry, and they come out in a very unique but extremely pleasant way to me. Like, I just think it is extremely just it's just a very pleasant sound, but also as a singer and coach, it's just a very expert way to manipulate a melody. Okay. This is apples and oranges because Joshen and JJ are nothing alike.
Yeah.
Like they are nothing alike, other than they are both extremely high level,
prolific singers.
Yes, but they're like comparing apples and oranges. So again, like, is this my preference? Like, yeah, I guess so. But I could watch Joshen perform it 1,000 times and watch the small decisions he's making, and it brings a smile to my face. He brings a smile to my face. I love him. I love him. It's just, this is the most relatable to me. So it's not even like, I can't choose. You're right. It is more of a battle. I can't choose which I think is more prolific because they both are, but they're nothing alike to me. 逆着光行走，任风吹雨打。短短的路走走停停，也有了几分的距离，不知抚摸的是故事还是短。Also, there is the factor that this is a more masculine sound. So this, I don't know, I'm a girl. It's masculine. 心情也许期待的不过是与时间为敌，再次见到你，微亮晨光里。Never heard him do that. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. You do it.
Da 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 da. Da.
Yeah, it's interesting.
笑得很甜蜜。去洗热时间，百般留恋，看着天边死在眼前，也甘愿不等到过去走它一遍。如今走过这。Both Joshen and JJ transform this song into their own thing.
Yeah.
Like it feels like it's Joshen's song when he sings it, and it feels like JJ's song when he sings it.
Yeah.
It's very cool. This little change.
Yeah.
Da 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 da.
Yeah.
So I should say that's very well compressed. I saw your face too. Yeah, very, very well compressed. And compression allows a singer to stay thick and juicy and belty higher up. The higher up you go, you don't necessarily have to compress more, but past a certain point, you kind of do. But that allows him to stay thick-toned and sing higher in his range, past even where he would yell, that deep compression. Is he singing through his tongue? Or what is this?
不惧笑话，不惧惧。
Oh God, is that up?
惧 no.
No, what is it? It's what is it?
You mean the meaning?
Yes, of this word.
The word meaning is afraid, fear. 惧 is fear. I mean, there's 1,000 different meanings to the same sound, but this specific character means fear.
Okay, anyway, this is that high tongue sound that we've talked about.
Yeah.
So he's like, So even though the tongue is high, we still manage. Is that accurate?
Kind of.
But is what he's doing very understandable?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Very.
Well, then I'd say that's a pretty magnificent, you know, he's making space even where there's very little.
不惧不惧笑话惧 Yeah, it's not that hard.
I'm not saying it's hard. I'm saying it's not ju.
No, we're used to it. 惧
不惧笑话，我曾将青春翻涌成她，也曾指尖弹出盛夏，心之所动，且就随缘去吧。晚风吹起你鬓前的白发，不平会留下的疤。
So just like Zhou Shen, this is when I was saying he's helping his listeners, his audience, feel whatever that may be, that sorrow or that, sorrow's the wrong word, that heart tug, right? That heart tug. By the way, he's softened the melody up into a more whispery or heady sound. Listen here. And like Zhou Shen, he has a little bit of that pinch in this last note. Listen here. Little pinch. But you can see the singers are very, very different, but do you see how they can use a similar technique and apply it to two completely different styles, artistic, you know, two different artistic paintbrushes can dip in a similar color and paint a completely different picture. Do people, I don't know if you can answer this, do people who love Zhou Shen also love JJ? Like, is that fan base similar, or is it very like, you're this or you're this? Like, you prefer this or you prefer this?
I don't know. I can't speak for them because I don't belong to either group, to be honest.
What?
I don't. But I belong to the third group.
You appreciate both.
I really appreciate their skill.
I guess I'm asking you under the you know what, that's actually an unfair question, because that's like saying, well, do Taylor Swift fans also like Beyonce?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, some do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some do, but some are like rabid Beyonce fans and some are rabid Taylor Swift fans.
Like
yeah, it's probably a dumb question.
Yeah.
It's really lovely. Yeah. I think that I think Zhou Shen and JJ's are both incredibly beautiful.
Who takes the cake?
I gotta give it
to
JJ.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah, beautiful interpretation by both artists, though.
Yeah. I really like JJ. I really like Zhou Shen, but I think age has something to do with who we like too.
We're the same age.
JJ is our age. I feel like, okay, like I mean, see, I listen to Jackie, right? I listen to like the older guys that were like, you know, 20 years older than us, because they influenced my childhood.
I don't know, man, because that's what's so cool about this project is I have no attachments.
Yeah.
And to me, Zhou Shen feels like the same age as us. I recognize you're saying he's like a
way
decade younger,
He's way
probably.
younger, yeah.
Well, even so, to me it's more style. Like, to me, Zhou Shen is breathtaking.
Yeah.
Like, he is like an artist.
Yeah.
Like, and is incredibly skilled, like, on a physical level. Like, just all through the layers of it, of what he does with his song, with his voice, with his art. To me, JJ sings like... Zhou Shen sings like an instrument, which is a huge compliment, right?
Yeah.
To like, oh my God, he sounds like a flute, or oh my God, he sounds like a violin. Like, that's a sound that is so pleasing, whether you're an infant or an old person.
Yeah.
You like the sound of a violin is like breathtaking.
Yeah.
JJ has a very, very current, modern pop interpretation of material.
Yeah.
And a prolific instrument.
Yeah.
So it really just is two different things.
Yeah.
But they're both just at the top of their freaking game.
Very, very
Just
good. Very,
so
very
good.
I'm just saying, the attachment thing really is very important.
Memories.
It plays such a big part. Like, skill-wise, I would appreciate JJ and Zhou Shen as the most prolific Chinese singers.
Well,
that
yeah,
I
it doesn't
know.
take...
But it doesn't take away Jackie Chan from me, Like, like I would still, because I listen
But even
to
if
Jackie
you...
Chan.
Okay, let me ask you then. Your emotional attachment and your memory and your heart attachment to Jackie...
Yeah.
would you still say, like, skill-wise, he's the same as them?
It's different, though. Back then, he didn't need to do all this stuff. Like, standards have changed, I feel like, in pop industry. In terms of vocal, too. I mean, the big vibratos were so trendy back then. Everyone was doing it. Even JJ did it, too. At first, JJ sang like Jackie in his audition. But then he changed, right? He moved on. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to put names and faces that I would relate to in my world into this story.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say a critique, but then I stopped myself.
Go ahead, say it.
Well, I was going to say, like, I bet you JJ can sing like Jackie.
Of course.
But Jackie can't sing like JJ. But I kind of stopped myself because that's not really a case, because the muscle memory that Jackie has of doing what he's been doing for how long he's been doing it, it's kind of unfair to be like, oh, well, you can't do this modern interpretation. Well, he's made bazillions of dollars and done a bazillion shows doing the thing he does, also with a ton of positive affirmation.
Yeah.
And also his fans like what he's doing, so why would he shift, per se?
He's known as the god of singers.
Did we post a video on him?
No, we didn't.
Oh, God.
Probably not going to.
Why?
Not Jackie.
Did I shit on him?
Not shit on him, but I mean, obviously his techniques were old
So,
school, very
whoa.
old school, right?
Are you not posting it because you think they won't like it, or are you not posting it because you didn't love what I said?
No, I'm afraid of getting I don't know.
I guess I'm trying to think of from the audience point of view. I guess why would you want to watch somebody not not resonate with someone who you love, who's like part of your childhood or part of your teenhood or your young adult life? But in my not defense, but in my defense, I can only review what I know and what's right in front of me, and I don't have those attachments.
Yeah, I know a lot of people would be interested, but I don't know.
It's cold outside, but I'm wearing like a friggin' big shirt today.
We know it sounds lovely to use floaty, airy falsetto in our higher notes, but what about in the lower notes? Try this exercise with me. We're going to do a simple descending scale, but we're going to stay in that whispery, falsetto-y place all the way down. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hint, make sure you're taking a big juicy inhale when you do this exercise because we're using more air per second with this registration. Good luck.
Oh.